Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm glad to welcome you all to ManageEngine's free training on OpManager MSP. I'd also like to inform you that we do have a team of panelists to answer your questions. So please feel free to raise your queries on the chat panel, and we'll be happy to get back to you in a minute. So to introduce myself, I'm Arjun, product expert at ManageEngine, and I'm glad to meet you all in this training webinar. So here is the training schedule for this free training series. The training is split into two parts. On March 6th, we discussed onboarding and monitoring multi-client networks using OpManager MSP. And today, in the second session, we'll discuss client network visualization and fault management. This is the topic for the day. But before that, let's go through the agenda for the day. First, we will have a recap of part 1 of this free training series. And then we will dive into multi-client fault management and instant fault notification. And then we'll discuss integrations and workflows in detail, and followed by client network visualization. And then we'll explore add-ons and data collection manager. And finally, we'll take a look into reports. So without further ado, let's get started. So starting with the recap of part 1, we discussed what is OpManager MSP, followed by what we learned. Followed by that, we learned the steps to install OpManager MSP Central and Probe servers. Then we discussed how to onboard clients using OpManager MSP's client onboarding features. Followed by that, we discussed about client multi-client monitoring, various monitors such as performance monitor, file, folder monitor, script monitor, and much more. So with that out of the way, let's jump into today's session, and that is multi-client network and fault management. So there can be various types of faults in a network. So with your client's network health, depending on various resources like the system resources, services, network connectivity, etc. Getting to the root of the problem is simplified when the monitoring solution raises meaningful alarms. So in OpManager MSP, we help you identify the problem quickly with its detailed alarms indicating the resource that is poorly performing in the client network, so that you can be very precise with the problem identification and you can be very targeted in your troubleshooting. With OpManager MSP, you can proactively identify any faults in your client's network with threshold-based alarms. Threshold can be set by two methods. One is by doing it manually, where you can set threshold for a particular metric, say, let's say CPU utilization for one device or for multiple devices of the same type. The other method is adaptive threshold, which is explained, which we'll go through in the next slide. Besides this, you can get alerted based on syslogs and traps generated in your multi-client network. You can also acknowledge, suppress, and escalate the alarms to gain stronger control over your alert messages. In OpManager MSP, we don't have just one, but multiple notification options as well for you to choose from, like email, SMS, and much more. This way, no alarm will ever go unnoticed. Moving into thresholds, this is an extension of the concept of thresholds. Normally, with threshold configurations, you manually set values based on device criticality. However, adaptive thresholds in OpManager MSP uses machine learning to analyze past performance patterns of various monitors. What it does is it then predicts reliable values for monitor thresholds and dynamically updates them based on the workload. For example, let's say if you set the CPU utilization attention threshold at 80%, it's typically applied 24/7. However, real-time workloads will obviously vary. For example, on Monday mornings, CPU utilization might be around 70%, while on the weekends, it could drop to 10%. So maintaining a constant threshold all week isn't effective. But with adaptive thresholds feature enabled, OpManager MSP calculates a useful forecast value for each monitor and updates it hourly without constant input. For example, it might set Monday's threshold at 80% and adapt to a lower value like 20% on weekends based on past performance analysis. So let's see this in the UI. So here, let's go to settings. All right, let's wait for it to load again. Okay, let's go to the settings, and here at the bottom under monitoring tab, we see monitor settings. And here we have the monitor setting options and all that. And on the right tab, we see adaptive threshold settings. Here, once we enable, it auto configures dynamic thresholds, data patterns using ML, and there is a help card with all the reference material for you to get started. Here we can see the monitors that are available: CPU utilization, memory utilization, response time, all that. Now let's get back to the presentation. So the next one is we are going to discuss about alarms. So normally for the client metrics that you are monitoring, threshold values are set, and when the metrics exceed the mentioned threshold values, OpManager MSP notifies the technician or the admin who is responsible for overseeing the client network performance by generating an alarm. By creating threshold-based alerts, you can proactively monitor your client network and ensure it doesn't go into unplanned downtime or cause device failure. With OpManager MSP, you can quickly identify client device alarms with severity-based color-coded alarms and even history. So let's go back to the UI and see this again. So here, just a second. So here, from the dashboard, let's go to alarms section. And here we see the full list of alarms that have been raised, the active alarms. And on the left, we see the color coded. So with just one glance, we can get a quick summary of all the alarms that have been raised. And once you click on them, it drills down to that particular color code of alarms. So here, let's go back to the overview. Like as you can see, the color code is always, so the green signifies available attention will be shown in yellow, followed by trouble as orange, and critical as red. So critical is the one that we've clicked on so far. And you can acknowledge, clear, add nodes, and execute workflows from your. So once you drill down to a particular alarm, here we can choose to unmanage, add nodes, trace route, ping, all of that can be configured. And you can also categorize alarms based on severity and view client alarm status from dedicated dashboard widgets. So now let's get back to the presentation. So next up is instant fault notification. So alerting does not have to be web alarms all the time. Our goal is to notify the technician in charge of the client network whenever a threshold is violated. And for that purpose, OpManager MSP provides various means of notification options. So you can convert alarms to any type of notification like email, SMS, or ticket with customized message and description. So you can customize the level of details in the alarm to enable faster, easier troubleshooting of client network issues. This is because the sooner a network issue is fixed, the sooner it can get back to performing its normal functions. You can notify the stakeholders through the right channel they prefer and at the right time. So notification profiles alert you if there are any faults in your client network devices. You can configure notification profiles to receive email. We can see that here. Let's go to the UI and see this. So here, once we go to settings, and here on the rightmost notifications tab, here we see notification profiles. And we can see here all the already created set of notifications. So one is a email notification profile, the one is a web alarm, the email-based SMS. So to add a new one, once we click on this, yeah, here we can see all the options that are available. So let's dig a deeper through all the options that we have to send these notifications out. So the first one is configuring an email. So the most preferred and the most common mode of notification is email. This process starts with setting up a mail server. This will allow you to trigger notifications for any alarms generated in OpManager MSP. So let's see how to configure email notification profile. Get back to the here we were go to settings. Yeah. Just wait for it to load. Just a second. Here we have mail server settings, and this is where we enter all the pertinent details. And once you save, the mail server profile will be created. Then go to the notification profiles, add, and then email. And here also enter all the pertinent details, the mail format, the from to, the way the message, in the subject line itself, you can convey the severity, and all that can be configured from this end, making collaboration much more easier. Now let's move to the SMS. So similar to email notification, SMS is also equally popular, and setting it up is really simple and easy. So OpManager MSP supports SMS Gateway and SMPP. API-based services like ClickAtell are also supported. And you also have the option to add multiple admins in one profile. So let's see that as well. So here again in the settings, under general setting, we have SMS server settings. As we mentioned, the ClickAtell, the SMS providers, Twilio, SMS Eagle custom can be configured, and the SMPP as well. Enter all the details, and we can first have a test SMS, send a test SMS to verify if it's being sent and received or not. And then once you save, the server setting is ready to go. Now, next up is configuring webhooks. So as you know, webhooks allow applications to communicate between themselves and facilitate operations in an effective and faster way. OpManager MSP leverages this to push alert messages to specified URLs in case of any event. So configuring webhooks can be done real quick and easy with OpManager MSP. This webhook feature will let you send alerts to individual users or groups in the communication channels who are responsible for handling the issues. You can easily customize the details you provide in alerts that are sent to not only ensure privacy, you can be more specific to ensure faster client network fault identification. So let's see this in the UI. So here, the settings, and under notification, we have notification profiles. And once you click on add, we can enter the URL, the action, the headers, the user agent, timeout, all of that can be configured. And as always, there's a help card for you to navigate through this seamlessly. So the notification profile is configured and all set to receive notification. We should also cover another important topic of what happens if an alarm goes unnoticed. So this is very much possible. You can set up all the notification profiles you want. There will come a time when one or the other alarm will go unnoticed. So that's when alarm escalation rules come in. So we may mistakenly not notice an alarm or prioritize a few alarms over others and miss business critical alarms. So OPM MSP has an alarm escalation feature for this very purpose, and that also acts as your secondary alert or can also directly escalate the alerts to the next level so that the device triggering the alarm is addressed promptly. The alarm escalation rule will trigger an alert depending on the settings. So for instance, CPU utilization of a server is important and it has to be kept under control. If you have not identified this alarm, there will be a lot of business impact. It will also impact the device, making it run slower, and also it will not allow other applications or services to run smoothly. With OpManager MSP, you can effortlessly customize alert resolution delay, after which an alarm has to be triggered. Stakeholder-specific alarm escalation messages can also be created, which helps to make sure all the alerts are cleared without much delay. And this feature also helps MSPs to ensure client network service level agreements are met. So let's take you through the process of setting up an alarm escalation in the product. Let's see that again here in the settings. Under the configuration tab, further down we see alarm escalation rules. So here we can see the already existing rules that have been configured. So one such rule is server rule, the category server, and if it's not cleared within hours, the check runs for 60 minutes. All of that has been configured. It's up the notification, the email that will go out. You can add a new rule. Here you can name the criticality. If such a rule, for example, critical or trouble, if this goes unnoticed within the set time interval, this email can be triggered, message, all of that. This is the very intent of this particular rule, and this is how it works. Now let's go to network fault management. Let's take a look at the integration and workflow automation as well. So integrations are the easiest way to increase the capability of any network monitoring tool. And OpManager MSP is no exception. We have an inbuilt integration with Service Desk Plus MSP. So once the alerts are raised in MSP, respective tickets will be raised on the Service Desk Plus MSP interface and the clients will be notified. Configuring integration to client-specific Service Desk Plus MSP accounts, this ensures faster troubleshooting. And this out-of-the-box feature lets you customize the message in the alert that are to be passed on as tickets for each client based on your requirement. Client-specific ITSM ticketing mechanism ensures faster troubleshooting, and this results in improved fault management efficiency. So let's see this in the UI again. So here, the general, we have third-party integration. And here we can see Service Desk Plus MSP. Once you click on configure, the window will open, and here you enter all the pertinent details. And once you save, the integration will be activated. Up next, we have IT automation workflow. So workflow, as you all know, is a feature that allows you to automate your L1 and L2 fault management tasks of your multi-client network. And depending upon the alarm that is being generated, you can create your workflow with just a few drag and drops. It is very simple. You just need to drag and drop the various conditions that you need and create meaningful information. This feature helps us save time and reduce the manual effort and has a lot of other benefits as well. This leads to faster troubleshooting, reduced mean time to resolution, and improves operational efficiency. Workflows can be triggered whenever a fault is raised or for maintenance purpose as well. So let's check this out in the tool. Give me, yeah. So here, all right, let me load that again. So here, once you go to workflow, under the workflow tab, here we have all the existing workflows that have been created. You can execute the workflow, use logs, delete all that. Let's just have a quick look into one existing workflow. So here we have configured, you can see that here, ping the device. And if yes, what to do, and if it's no, All that. So let's go back, create a new workflow. This is how it works. You can choose which area. So let's say you want to check a particular file. So moving on to the next part of the session, the next topic we are going to discuss about is network visualization. So with growing business requirements and needs, any client's organization's network can become increasingly sophisticated and complex. The distributed topology and complex technologies in use only make it much harder for MSPs to monitor multi-client networks for performance, availability, and network faults. You can circumvent these bottlenecks using OpManager MSP's exhaustive network visualization capabilities. So let's see how OpManager MSP does that. So you can easily gain in-depth visibility into critical metrics of all the devices in your client's network. And MSPs can create individual or collective views and monitor selective categories of devices or business critical devices, which is very efficient. Also, there are several features in OpManager MSP to help you have a granular and holistic view of all your client networks. So let's see this. So dashboard is one of the most powerful features in OpManager MSP that helps you visualize and get to the smallest details in your client network devices easily. So why do we need visualization in the first place? Let me tell you why. Data becomes useful only when it is presented clearly to the right audience and the right stakeholders. So apart from the presentation, it's not just about the presentation, it's also about instantly identify network faults and performance, which makes MSP's work much more simple. So this is why we need visualization, and all of this can be achieved with the help of a network monitoring dashboard. Dashboards give at a glance overview of the status of your client's network with critical metrics from routers, switches, firewalls, servers, services, applications, URLs, printers, UPS, and other infrastructure devices. A one-click data refreshment ensures that you're always working with the most up-to-date information. With real-time performance graphs readily available, MSPs can also quickly troubleshoot problematic devices from remote location. OpManager MSP also allows you to gain a holistic view of your multi-client network devices and customize them based on your requirements. You can also provide or revoke access to dashboards to your MSP operators or custom users based on the necessity. So as we discussed in the first session, giving access only to the required data will increase the security. So let's see this in the UI. So here in the dashboard, so if you, from an MSP perspective, you can get a quick look at the infrastructure from this dashboard alone. So here we have customer snapshot, customer one, the alarms that have been raised, the devices, the probes from those customers as well, devices. This is a quick snapshot of the alarms. This signifies service down, that are critical, the infrastructure level snapshot, device level details, recent alarms. We'll create a new dashboard altogether as well. If you give a name, and from here, from this window, we can decide what all components will feature in your dashboard. So here we can see 3D flow view, very useful for coordinating any downtime or anything happening at hardware level. Business view, the event logs, interfaces down, Meraki widgets, Network configuration management widgets are also there. If you want to keep a close eye on storage of your storage infrastructure, we have the capacity utilization, the I/O rate, latency, SD, and all of that. It's a very extensive list of choices for you to pick from to create the dashboard. So now that we have gone through dashboards in OpManager MSP, let's move on to the next important feature, and that is Network Operations Center or NOC view. So a Network Operations Center or NOC is like a command center for admins and MSPs. This is where network admins monitor and manage your client's network or an entire IT infrastructure to ensure the high availability of business critical services to meet evolving business needs. It is basically a bigger version of dashboards that are client specific or device specific, but NOC gives you a very universal view of an entire client's network in a single pane of glass. So the goal of any NOC is to maintain optimal network performance and availability and ensure continuous uptime of business critical services. So through the NOC window, you can manage a lot of critical activities, including monitoring network, servers, applications for health and performance. Then you can analyze the bandwidth and proactively identify bottlenecks in the network. You can constantly keep track for security threats and attacks and analyze. You can modify the network configurations based on the business needs and also keep a close eye on unauthorized configuration changes or that user management. All of this can be monitored. You can spot faults and troubleshoot quickly to reduce the mean time to repair. So with a proper NOC view in place, you're basically ensuring that you have a deep visibility into the infrastructure, all ends are covered, and there are no blind spots. And if there are any issues or anomalies at all, you can respond to it quickly and no time is lost. So multiple client dashboards can be integrated into a single NOC view as well. You can view the overall status of multiple client networks simultaneously. So OpManager MSP also lets you to embed NOC view on larger screens and share real-time status of client networks with your team. So let's see this again. So here we have NOC view. Let's see this. This is one quick sample. The heat map and business view, that's all that there is in this particular NOC. But if we are to get a much more detailed one, we can do that as well. So let's click on create NOC view. And we can choose from a long list of options for that can be part of the NOC window as well. So let's say I want to get an understanding of the visualization. I need an overview about the storage. I need a look into the NCM module as well, and to keep an eye on bandwidth and the server details as well. Okay, this seems unavailable for now. But once you activate that feature, all those widgets will appear on a common screen. And you're essentially making sure that all important aspects of your network is continuously monitored and visible to you, not just to your team as well. Let's move to the next feature, which is layer 2 maps. So layer 2 maps helps you discover the client networks quickly. So a major advantage of using this discovery method is that you can discover the entire network through the seed or core router. So let us assume that you are expanding your branch by adding more devices to your network. but you have no idea of the approximate range of IP addresses used by your device. But you know the IP of a seed router. So using that information, we can discover all the devices present in your network. And additionally, we can map all the devices and plot them the way they are arranged in your physical network, which is very much interesting. So in OpManager MSP, Layer 2 discovery helps network administrators and data center admins to visualize their complete network infrastructure with a live network map. It automatically discovers maps and reports the complete set of devices like servers, desktops, virtual machines, firewalls, etc., present in your infrastructure in less than no time. It also offers periodical network discovery or rediscovery options to keep the map live and up to date. You can export these network maps to PDF, take printouts, and share with your peer groups. You can also export Layer 2 maps directly into Microsoft Visio. Visit OpManager MSP's help page to understand how to do this and what are the prerequisites. So let's see this in the UI. So here, okay, let's just a minute ago we went through NOC. Let's see if in this window we can try this again. Creating an all new view. So I want info about SDN. Right? I want visualization summary. I want a real-time dashboard. Insights into storage, server. So this is an example of an NOC view. So here we have storage overview. This read seconds, this writes all that. When you click on the server level, we see the availability for the monitor. We get visualization summary as well. So basically picking out the exact, if you have business critical components in your network and you want to monitor only that, you can basically customize what you want to see. So here in the device, a real-time dashboard, you can see that as well. So now let's get back to, so we were talking about layer 2 map. Let's now move on to the business view. So business view is one of the most frequently used feature of OpManager MSP. So the reason is that business view allows you to add links between devices and helps to represent the network diagram. These links can be configured based on the user requirement. So business view gives you an overall view of your distributed network. And if you'd like to make changes in the threshold or change the monitoring setting of an interface or device, all that you need to do is simply click on it and you'll be taken to the snapshot view of the device interface. So at a very regional level or even at a global level, the businesses are in multiple locations. So you can get with business view, can get quick snapshots of all the linked networks or sites and the metrics instantly. You can identify the status of a particular network component based on the color coding. You can easily identify the devices that are down and a device that is critical and so on from a single glance. Business view can also be used to fetch reports. This translates to, for example, you've created a business with certain devices and interface, and if you wanted a report for that particular metric, that is possible with OpManager MSP. So let's see this in the UI. So here we can see under the maps in business views, we already have 5 odd templates here. So Australia business view, you can see that here, entire continent. And once we hover through, you can see the names, the status, the type, the recent alarm that was raised. another type of business view. And again, we can, once you hover, you can also hover over the link, and we can see the traffic, in and out traffic, the speed. Those such examples of the map of India. We're basically enabling us to observe a network that traverses an entire a big region using this feature. So a graphical representation of devices according to the business services that they cater for. So this helps you ensure the availability of business critical applications at all times and help with quicker troubleshooting. So followed by business view, we have maps. So this is one of the most important features offered by OpManager MSP. So in OpManager MSP, you have the option to create and visualize your network infrastructure over the map. So you can get a clear picture of the geographical distribution of your network devices. So this helps in easy identification in case there is an outage. We have two types of maps available. The first one is Google Maps. And in case you have an API key purchase from Google, you can make use of this. If not, we also have a map developed by Zoho for you called Zoho Maps. You can directly import clients' devices to the map. So let's see this in the UI again. So here, this Zoho Maps we currently, and then we have maps option as well. As mentioned, here we need to enter the pertinent details API key for this to start working. And this map feature, what it does is it is a bit more granular in detail. It's much more detailed, and that's the benefit that you get. The real world map. So you can be a bit more precise in the representation of your network and the location, the geography, etc. The next topic is so here with the data center view and rack view, 3D floor view, you can create a virtual replication of client data center floors and racks. You can embed data center views in NOC screen as well and facilitate 24/7 monitoring. So this data center view is very dynamic and it shows device status in real time. And when it comes to racks, you can create virtual racks and place devices in it. You can see that here in the image. You can see a quick representation of the composition of the rack floor. Color codes allow for quick identification. So the ones that are shown in red are devices that need your attention. The ones that are in green are working fine. So to see this in the UI, again, you must have seen when we are going through maps. Here we have rack views. You can see that here, what router, Aruba, the device vendor name, all that is shown here. In 3D floor view, let's check out our Mumbai floor office. Here, Nutanix racks and VMware. You can get a 3D view as well. Okay, we'll have to check that out in the this is the 3D view. Now let's move to the OpManager MSP's add-ons. First one is MCM add-on. So you can track every change that is made to your client network devices. OpManager MSP can help you take a configuration backup automatically, or you can schedule them. So with this add-on, you can automate or schedule day-to-day network configuration tasks in bulk as well. You can keep up with the latest compliance policies like HIPAA, SOX, Cisco iOS, and PSI, and keep your client's network secured. You can also scan, spot, and fix firmware vulnerabilities with the relevant patches suggested by OpManager MSP. So let's see this in the demo. And here we can see config management in the drop down here as well. So you go to the config management tab. We can see a particular device. So let's just click on it. We can see a quick snapshot of the device. So integrated router, what is the current running configuration, startup configuration, the backup operation that was executed, backup summary. So here we can see at a glance, we can see what are the changes that have been made, modified, what have been added, have anything been deleted, all through the day as well, the change trends over time, whether they have been unauthorized or authorized. So in this demo, we can see that with the color code that it's the changes that have been made are unauthorized. So from an IT admin perspective, they can quickly make corrective measures. IAMS, operations, all of that. Operational level insight as well, the history. Yeah. And if you want to fetch a report regarding this, you can do that as well. So here under NCM, we have all these reports that are available: hardware inventory, device audit, device backup status, network backup status, credentials, configuration change, the configuration change trend, compliance report, user access, user audit. These are a set of reports that can be very useful, very handy. So let's also talk about the OPU add-on. So with OPU add-on, you can enable advanced IP scanning of IPv4 and IPv6 subnets in your network to identify the available and used IP addresses. You can scan, map, and view in-depth insights into your network switch ports with the switch port mapper module and port scanner tool. You can identify rogue devices intrusion and block access to these devices. Let's see that in the UI again. So here you will be able to, as of now, there are no records to view, but here in the IP address manager and switch port manager, mapper, and rogue detection, you'll have the devices, and as seen in the NCM module as well, you can drill down and get important metrics regarding OP users. And in terms of reports too, we have unused IP addresses, report switches by usage, vendor name, disabled ports report, scheduled reports. A very extensive set of reports for IP address and switch port management are available. Let's now talk about client network reporting. So organizations often have limited in-house developed solutions for reporting. These solutions tend to leverage data drawn after the fact from their client network monitoring tools using spreadsheet-based outputs. So your tool will have a lot of data accumulating to gigabytes of disk space. And if the tool is capable of providing immediate and intelligent reports like OPM MSP, it will make a world of difference in running a well-planned, optimized client IT infrastructure. In OpManager MSP, you can schedule reports and have them delivered to your email address or pull reports manually. So health report of your routers and switches. There are pre-made reports that can fetch you the devices with the highest packet loss or response time. There is also an interface availability report. You can pull certain hardware performance metrics, for example, temperature, fan speed, all that, and then identify the device with heavy incoming and outgoing traffic, and similarly, high incoming and outgoing errors or discards. So Manager MSC basically allows you to create custom reports based on the data that you want. Let's see this in the demo. We were just going through the same, and under the reports tab, we have Manager MSP specific. There are general reports. So here we have system, health performance, availability, WAN RTT VoIP, storage specific report, forecast reports. And for bandwidth monitoring, we have another forecast billing schedule, same OP utils, audit specific reports, all of that. In reports, there is one more. So here we have under the general, we have trend reports. Forecasting performance trends feature, which is available on OpManager MSP. This uses advanced predictive algorithms and modern technologies such as AI and ML to foresee the future trends of a device or an interface. So using the forecasting performance trends feature, network admins can effectively foresee these future performance trends to help them take necessary measures to stay on par with the network's ever-changing demands. So here we can see that in the memory utilization trend. So if you click on that, data is currently not available in this demo, but what this does is it gives a very good estimation of accurate prediction as to how the memory utilization is going to grow in the next week or a particular timeline. This is very effective for capacity planning and make improved decision making. So here we have forecast reports as well. So now let's go to Data Collection Manager. So the Data Collection Management feature in OpManager MSP aids in viewing all the client's monitor, interface, credential-related issues in a single pane so that any monitor or interface without ongoing data collection can be easily identified. So it keeps a vigilant eye on data collection and helps achieve better scalability. Data Collection Manager also lets you improve the efficiency of polling and reduce unnecessary polling load on the server. It improves the overall data collection performance in the OpManager MSP server and helps streamline the server's resources to reduce unnecessary load. But how does OpManager MSP's Data Collection Manager work? So let's go through that with an example. So let's take an interface like Ethernet and assume we are polling it for data once every 5 minutes. So if the monitor responds, it remains in a normal monitored state. However, if we fail to get a response for say 6 hours, it is moved to a suspended state. And we still try to poll the device using a delayed polling interval of say once every 5 hours for the next 7 days or so. If we still fail to get a response from the monitor, it is then moved into the disabled state. So let's see this in the UI again. So here, Here in the self-support, we have diagnostics. So this reduces the monitoring load and improves the efficiency. So here we'll be able to see failed interfaces, credentials. We can see monitors interface experience and data collection. Let's try this in another build if we can obtain the better insight into this. Yes, I think this is a much better view. Obviously, the data points are there. So in the diagnostic, we can see the failed monitors. So here is this ID, client FNMP, the device name, the category, the reason that it was categorized into this tab, which is request timed out. That's the monitor. We can see failed interfaces as well, failed credentials, credential type, all of that. So now let's look at the summary of today's session. So we went through network faults and addressing them periodically. We went through creating notification profile to suit your needs. We went through alarm escalation rules, which enables you to escalate an alarm to a next level so that no alarm goes unnoticed. We went through automated IIT tasks with workflow. We went through visualization feature of such as business view, layer 2, and more. And we went through OpManager MSP's add-ons, which is NCM and OPU, create and schedule customer specific reports. We went through that as well. What is new? So OpManager MSP can now manage bandwidth and security across multi-client networks. So with NFA add-on, you can monitor your network's bandwidth utilization and optimize performance with real-time traffic insights. You can classify intrusions so you can effectively tackle network security threats in real time. Assess the future requirements for your network capacity planning reports. Please give your valuable feedback on Capterra and help us spread the word about OpManager MSP. Drop your queries to this mail ID and follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to know more about our events, latest updates, and about our tools. We post a lot of thought leadership and event related details on LinkedIn, and we have a lot of training material and insights on YouTube as well. So do check that out. On behalf of ManageEngine and team, I thank you all. And a quick heads up, there is a poll that is happening. You can see that in the chat itself. Do give us a quick feedback so that we can evaluate our own performance and improve our training as we. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending.